Time to see what I can do with making a chessboard. I'm going to use this mold that I got from Let's Resin. Hit it with the mold release spray. I'm going to use this Art Coat epoxy from Stone Coat. I'm going to mix up 4 ounces. I'm going to first color that with this black powder and maybe this black dye. And then what I'm going to try to do is put in some of the silver powder, but not make it a uniform appearance. Because what I want to do is I want to try to have a little bit of variation of the silver in the squares that I use with the black color. I'm not sure I can pull that off, so we'll just have to see how the mixing goes. Mixing this black powder up, I had stored that epoxy out here in the garage, and the resin was really thick. So I ended up over pouring. So I had to kind of go with a 6-ounce mixture. Then it was really having a problem mixing with the hardener. So I ended up dropping it into a jar of hot water, and that seemed to have done really well. I'm pretty happy with the way this is coming out with that little bad start. So this black mica powder, it actually looks silver. So I don't know what's going to happen here. It's the first time that I've used this coloring, this powder. So we'll see what happens. I mix a lot of the powder and a lot of the dye. So again, we'll see how it comes out. Maybe it'll look black when I lay it out. So I'm just going to put a little dab. I'm going to let that spread, and then I'll come back over it. So I'm not even putting the silver in like I thought I would want to, because again, this color seems to have so much silver in it. I just messed up. I just messed up. I started coloring the wrong squares. So I'm gonna clean that up, flip that mold over, mark the squares that I need to color so that I don't lose sight of that. So that's pretty comical. There's a fairly well-known YouTuber out of the UK by the name of Steve McDonald. And I've watched some of his videos on making these chessboards. And he said, you've got to go ahead and mark your squares that you're going to be coloring. Otherwise, you won't get it right. You'll forget it. And of course, I'm looking at it and thinking, it's just every other square. How hard can that be? And here I go and do the exact mistake that he warned me about. Kind of let my pride get in the way, thinking, I got this. This is easy. Well, it is easy, but I do need to be thinking about my own limitations. Anyway, I thought that was pretty comical. I often do not have to go to comedy shows. I can pretty much be a comedy show most of the time. So again, I'm not too sure about this color. Maybe there are different types of pigments that can really get me that black that I really wanted to go for, that true black color. I did want to have a little bit of a silver sheen to this, and I think I'm probably going to get that without using the silver. All right, square's done. Now I'm going to spread this a little bit. See if I've got enough to fill these squares. Doesn't look like I do. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put in quite a bit more epoxy, which is okay. Yeah, this is starting to get to where I want it to be. A lot of the YouTube videos I saw on this particular build, the resin seemed to spread a lot easier, and people weren't using quite as much resin, didn't have quite as thick of a block. So it'll be interesting as I learn more. It'll be interesting to see, is that due to the epoxy that I'm using? Is it due to the working conditions that I'm in with the temperatures and the humidities? I'm sure there is a whole lot that goes into this. I'm liking this art coat epoxy from Stone Coat. The way it's going on, I feel like I can control it pretty good. It also has a pretty good UV resistance built in. So I feel confident that I may not have to use a top coat on this board. But I think I will do a clear protective coat anyway, so that may as well be a good top coat, a good UV resistant top coat. Okay, I think this is coming along good. I'm starting to get a feel for where I can add more. That's okay. Dripping over into the border is fine. I wanted to hit the border with this color anyway. Dripping over into other squares like I've got is not fine. So I'll have to clean those up before I go in with my next alternate color. Okay, starting to get a good feel for how much volume I need to let the epoxy seep into the remaining space in the square. This is kind of neat. A little scared there. Just got a super tiny volume space to fill in. Okay, check each square. I think this is coming out okay. All right, each square is filled. Now, I do have a pipette, and that's what I thought I would have to use on the border. But now that I'm kind of getting used to this syringe, I think maybe, oh, that's really thick. It's really thick. I don't know. I'm definitely going to risk moving into a blank square, but maybe. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just try the pipette. Pushing that outside border out to make room for the syringe. And what's happening is, then as the border comes back in, it's pushing that epoxy over. And I'm just a little bit worried. The pipette doesn't give me a lot of epoxy either. Also getting a lot of air in there. Man, how do those YouTubers do that? They cheat. They have to cheat. They make it look so easy. All right. I'm just gonna have to go real light. Just have a nice, gentle touch. That's not doing too badly. didn't come out too badly. Let's see if I can make this happen. Yeah, a little bit over right there. I'm gonna have to really, that's gonna be hard to clean up. Okay. Okay. Not bad, not bad. A little light. Too much, too much, too much. Too much, not enough. Too much, not enough. All right. Spin this. All right. One more side to go. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. The epoxy gets a little thick in the syringe, and so you push on it and it doesn't come out, and then you push a little bit more and it all comes out. All right. Now let's see if I can. Yeah, I think I have to move it with the pipette, but I don't think I have to. Thought I checked all the squares, but sure enough, here's a square that isn't completely full. I think it's easy to scan with the eyeball and not look at each individual square to make sure. All right, now I think I've got it. So again, I'm not excited that I don't have that black that I wanted, but I end up having the final result that I wanted. All right, and now I've got some cleanup to do here. Whoa. I want to make sure that any cleanup I might have to do isn't connected to epoxy that I'm wanting to keep or preserve, because that will be definitely hard to break off. If I just have a little bubble or a little bit of epoxy that's just kind of sitting alone in these squares, that'll be no problem to clean off when this dries. I can just pop them right off with a blade. But if I've got spillover, like this square, that may be a little more challenging. Okay. Wow. I think this is coming out pretty good. Oh. Spill over in this corner. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take some of that epoxy away with this stick and then just let the remainder fill in. should work. I may have to do that in a few places. Looks like right here. See? Suck it out. A little bit. I don't know if I got any out. Okay. Ooh, that's sucking it out. Well, not terrible. Well, it looked like it was sucking out, but then I don't see any actually exiting the pipette. So for a first go, self-educated, I don't think this is terrible. Sure have a lot of features, not mistakes, they're features.